Project Dad. Could you build this?
Hey guys, welcome to Project Dad. Halloween's just a couple days away. We bought our candy, we ate most of it and had to go buy some more, but everything's ready for the big day. But today we're gonna talk about making a fake neon trick-or-treat sign using the same lights we did in the zombie video. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, click up there. And otherwise, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. But just remember, make sure you stick around until the end and we'll give you another dad tip. Ear protection and eye protection is always a must. And let's get to sawing down a 3/4 inch piece of exterior pine. And I cut this down to 28 by 14, as I felt that would be a good size of a sign. I used a 60-degree V-bit and went down, I think, about 0.12 inches. Now, looking back on it, I probably could have gotten away without using a V-bit, but I felt that the design that a V-bit kind of gives, if you just looked at the sign, it might make things a little bit nicer, as well as I felt that it kind of forced the light to get centered within the cutouts. But again, this is just a test piece, or not a test piece, but a new project idea, and I ended up with the V-bit. So I don't really have any other choices or reasoning behind that. But there you go. After cutout, get a little bit of the dust off, and then I moved off to some sanding. Now, when I sand, I typically go to about 150, sometimes 225 grit. And then after I sanded, I took my wife's compressed air. Don't tell her I used it. It just was close by. I do have an air compressor. But cleaned it out and then took my router and just routed the edge with a little camphor bit just to give it a little bit more design. And thanks to supply chain issues, I went with the only black spray paint that I could find at the store and quickly got just the one side. Now, when spray painting, it didn't completely get into the V-carve, so I did have to go back and touch up all those little areas to make sure it got into the nicks or the grooves of the piece. Now, what I wanted to do here was I want the wire to start from the back and come in, so I'll drill up and then run the wire in and trying to figure out where these little offset pieces are going to be fed through. I'm going to mark some with some blue tape where I think the drills or the holes should go. Using calipers, I found the diameter, which is about 0.08, and then tried to find a corresponding drill bit that would work. Now, I will tell you here that I initially went with something that was going to be double the width, so at least a 0.16. But then after some trial and error, I decided to really just use one drill bit to per hole, meaning if it went front to back, I ended up using 2 drill bits. So just a single bit that was just wider or just bigger than the wire itself. And as you can see, once I can kind of loop both ends back in, and now you can kind of see how this is going to start to take shape. Something that I wasn't expecting was I did chip away a few spots when putting these kind of pilot holes in, but I figured it probably won't matter too much because it's going to be dark and at nighttime when most people see this, and I just went back with a little bit of spray paint and touched up those areas. And honestly, you can't even really see it once they are spray painted unless you look up close. Side note, don't drill directly into your table, but not a big deal because my wife already ruined it. The next task was trying to figure out how I was going to secure this, and I did start off with super glue, but it kind of didn't stick as well as I thought it would. I don't know if I just wasn't using enough or if it wasn't doing well, but ultimately I ended up going with my hot glue gun. And my camera ran out, so you didn't get to see the very beginning of it. But basically I just put hot glue gun kind of all the way through a section and then held it down. Again, burning my hand who knows how many times. And then I figured I would go back later and get up some of that hot glue that just kind of was extra when I was putting it down. Now, one thing that I ran into was I originally bought a 5-meter string, and it was not enough to do this, so I did have to wait and order a second one. And worst case scenario is I can just put 2 battery packs on the back. However, I did find out after the fact that there are 10-meter ones when I was ordering this one, so if I had just originally gone with that from the beginning, then I wouldn't have had the issue. But I luckily found them, and it all worked out. So here I am just finishing up the last little bit, and I'll run the wire. And now when I bought it, it just had the 1 wire, and instead of having to do 2 battery packs, I did end up buying this one, which had kind of a few different adapters. So I'm just going to plug in both of those in the back so I don't have to worry about turning on 2 separate packs. And if I'm going to blink it, then, or pulse mode, then that way I don't have to worry about syncing them up. And there you can see the kind of completed sign. I have all this extra string, and I was debating whether or not to cut it off, but ultimately I think I'm going to kind of run around the edge and see how that turns out. I did spend some time trying to get off the hot glue, but ultimately took too much time and wasn't worth it. I'll just say it looks like spider webs and move on from there. But maybe next time I'll stick with the super glue or maybe some CA glue. But for the meantime, the hot glue looks a little bit like spider webs, and since it's a spooky theme, we'll just call it what it is and then move on from there. And there you have it. Looks wonderful. What do you guys think? And there we have the final trick-or-treat fake neon CNC sign. And overall, it was a fun project, and we'll see what other applications we can do with it. All right, guys, so there's our finished sign, and I think it turned out pretty cool. I'm going to go put this stuff outside and get ready for the trick-or-treaters coming up. Lots of applications for this. I think some name signs for some kids, or New Year's, or Christmas signs. But definitely work in progress, so we got to tweak a few things. If you do happen to make one, send me a video or send me a finished project and tell me how you guys made it better. Again, I'm just a dad trying to figure things out and do some fun projects. So any tips and advice are gladly appreciated myself as well. Now for your quick dad tip. Want your kids to do all the hard work and bring home your nice little stash that you want to keep and maybe hide from them because you want a little chocolate at times. Get you an empty box that's lying around in the pantry. Boom. There's no way your kids are gonna find the candy in the garden rotoni that's hidden in the corner of the pantry. So that way, whenever you're feeling a little fix or a little hunger, go get you a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup on your own time. Anyways, guys, please like and subscribe for future videos, and hopefully we'll see you guys next time. Take care. Ammo, get out of the candy.
Magic Dad, could you build this?